Before you resin your furniture, there's a few safety guidelines to go through first. Proper ventilation, wear disposable gloves, wear protective clothing, designate items as resin only, wear a respirator, wear safety goggles, wear an apron, clean up spills immediately, and use resin that is approved for arts and crafts purposes only. So I'm just using some nitrile gloves here. They're the best protective gloves with resin or any of these sorts of chemicals. We'll just wait till I put these on. Then I'll be using my mask or putting that on. It's a half face mask. If your eyes are sensitive, I do recommend a full face mask or goggles as well as the half mask. You'll need a measuring cup. You can use the small graduated measuring cups or the ones like that large one there. With resins, there's always a part A and there's always a part B. Part A is your resin, part B is your hardener. When you're measuring resin, you need to get the ratio 100% correct. The resins I use are always 1:1 ratio. So here I'm just checking where I need the amount I need. So I'd hit the record button, but it obviously didn't work. So I'm just showing I'm putting in part B now. So already A's in there. I've measured A. Now I want to put, because this is an equal ratio resin, I want to put the equal amount of B as I did A. And once I get close, I'll put it down just so I can see a lot easier and measure it out correctly, 100%. If it's not equal ratio, it can dry sticky and other things can happen too. So you want to make sure that you're doing it properly. Put those out of the way. Now we'll mix. It's always good to set a timer. Each resin brand that you use may have a different time set that you have to mix both resin A and B in. Usually it's around the 3-minute mark, so it's always good just to set a timer. Once you start mixing, it will start going cloudy. And once it's done, it will start becoming clear, but make sure you read the directions on the label for whichever resin that you use. Always ensure that your table or whichever project you're doing with resin, whatever board it is 100% level. There's the mixture now, the resin. It's 100% mixed. Just wiping the resin off. You pour your resin into the middle of the surface. Here I just stopped and grabbed my phone just to record, but you would continue going as normal. You pour the correct amount of resin into the middle. Watch for the drips. If you do manage to drip any of the resin anywhere, always clean it up first. It's a lot easier to clean up now before it gets real sticky and starts to harden. Just use one of your sticks to even out the resin. Make sure your whole surface is covered evenly. Resin is self-leveling, so if you've ensured that you've got a flat surface, like 100% level flat surface, it will self-level properly. But you need to ensure that every part of your surface there is 100% covered. or you'll end up with like potholes, areas where it hasn't covered. It's also good to note to always clean your area before you resin it, or clean the surface rather, because resin won't go anywhere near oils. So if you've got fingerprint marks all over your artwork, resin will not go near there. Just ensure it's 100% covered. Now you'll need to pop the air bubbles in the resin. So grab your lighter, your butane torch, or you can use a heat gun as long as it's got a flame, and just go over lightly, not actually touching the resin with the flame, to pop any air bubbles. If you see any dust or any air bubbles that haven't popped, you can use a stick. Just make sure you've popped all those air bubbles. Have a look at it on an angle just to ensure everything's looking good. So now I start on my second table. This one I'd poured recently, but it wasn't shown in the video. But I thought I'd include this one as well, just to show you the second resin one. Again, I just pour into the middle. And now I just evenly spread it out to the edges with the stick. You can use your hand, obviously with the glove. Now, given that resin is chemicals, once you mix part A and part B together, that's when the vapors come out. So ensure that you are away from your family, away from your pets. You have a well-ventilated room, and you have your proper PPE on. Now, once it's dried, you want to turn it over. Make sure you have a towel or something soft that you've turned it over onto, and you can use a razor to scrape off the little drips underneath. Resin usually takes 24 hours to dry, about a week to fully cure, so you don't want to press down too hard. The final results. They have a beautiful glass-like finish. Thank you for watching, and please post your projects.